if Tavares returns, I am very curious to see what that looks like. You know, if they sign him to a deal, whatever it is, 3-year deal, 4-year deal, what's that dollar amount? And who has to explain it? John or Tree Living? I would suggest both. You know, I would suggest both. But let's say it's $7 million on a 3-year deal.
$7 million?
I'm sure that's what he's asking for.
I'm
sure that's what he's asking for. You know, he might be asking for more.
I think here's the thing. Do you not think that if John Tavares wants to stay, it's going to have to be definitely a hometown discount? But can't you do it July 10th? Like what?
Yeah,
what
but
is
he's probably saying,
Why would he
I got to
do that?
get my life sorted out here. You think I'm going to sit around and wait? And what if they give him the high hard one and just on July 10th they're like,
that ain't happening. There's no way Tavares and his camp will let that happen. I mean,
no, that's why he wants an answer. He wants to figure something out.
But
and he has the right
allow
to.
him to.
Of course.
Yes. You can allow him to go to market and say, yeah, you know what, this team's going to give me 8. We say, congratulations, take the 8. And you go and you look at other players. You like, that's the biggest thing. Unless you absolutely want him as your third line center for next season, that can kiss up into the second line center, all of that type of stuff, or play wing. Like,
who's
again,
playing
this
second
team
line
needs-
though if it's not John Tavares? Like, that's the question.
Well, this is where you got to get creative.
Totally
This is
agree
where
with
you're
you,
talking
but-
about trades. It's not about signings. It's about trades. It's about finding players within the league that need change of scenery. We were just talking about how everybody's open for business. Everybody wants to. You don't think Brad Tree Living's working the phones right now? And
Well,
there's
obvious.
lots of
I'm sure he
players
is. But again, if you're saying Tavares is your third line center, then you can't even pay him $5 million a year, in my opinion. Like, if you have him penciled as your third line center, you got to have. What does Lundell make? 4.5? You know, like you can't pay a guy $6-7 million to be on
No
your
kidding.
third line.
If he is your third line centerman, why would you want to pay him $7 million? Like that's when those numbers come. Like, I just don't understand why Patrice Bergeron was at the end of the line and he signs for $2.5 million, and all these, like, I have the comments coming my way in public where it's like, yeah, just 3 years at $9 million makes sense to me, and I'm like, you guys are all
I know,
insane.
it's crazy talk.
Dude,
And that's not going to happen. I mean, the Leafs.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, the Leafs have a history.
If
of
I
losing
ran the
every
Leafs, it would be very
negotiation.
simple. We just gave you $80 million. You're going to do us a favor on this one, or we're not doing it. Sorry. There's no 7. There's no 6. There's nothing. None of that talk is happening here. If you want to come back and you really want to stay here and that's your only objective, you are doing us a serious favor. That's the only way and the only terms that this deal is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Take it or leave it. Go and find a place to play because it won't be here.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I see it the exact same way you do, but that doesn't mean Tree Living does, and it doesn't mean Tavares does. And that's what we're going to find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
like, good player, guys. Scores a lot of points. Scored 38 goals last year. For the $80 million, and he was a part of it, they won 2 playoff series. So why would there be such a need to bring the player back? Like, are people insane? They never won. Why do you have to bring anyone back? Get different players. Try it. What the hell is it? What's worse that could happen?
yeah.
I'm so sick of
Be
talking. People are
patient
so
and go out
dumb.
there and find pieces, man. And it might take more than a year. People don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. You know, it may take a couple of years to fill out your roster appropriately. You know, and I would say the idea that this, you know, well, you have to do it for Matthews. You don't owe Austin Matthews anything anymore. He owes you something.
Yes.
And William Nylander owes you something. You paid them a fortune, and they didn't show up when you needed them. You don't owe them anything in their window to win. Like, you know, if it takes you a year or two, so be it. And put even more pressure on them to make sure that it doesn't have to be that much of a timeline. You know, go out there and pull your weight and find a way to help this team win.
And we were just talking about Jonathan Toews, where the reports are indicating he may make a decision on where he's going to play within the next couple of weeks. Can't officially sign until July 1st, but he's a free agent. He didn't play last year. right? So
flat out.
different rules. He can talk to whoever he wants to and make a
Fascinating
decision.
to see what that deal will look like.
Can you imagine anything beyond a 1-year deal? Like, do you think anyone would give him 2 or 3 years? And
Yeah, depends on how desperate you want him into your fold, right? I think he can get a couple years depending on the setting. Again, if you're trying to get a number, like if he's got 5 different
I don't
teams
even
that want
think,
him,
Jamie, he wants more than 1
No,
year.
I
Like,
think
he's
he'll
just trying to
take
get
1
back.
year.
Yeah, he's just trying to get back playing.
I agree, but he's going to pick a setting where he feels it's best suited for him. Comfortable environment, a role where he doesn't have to be the man. He can just be a contributing guy and kind
guess
of wait
what?
his
He'll
way
want
back
to
in
win
the league.
too.
Yeah, agreed.
well,
I agree.
what if it's Florida? Like, what if he signs with the Florida Panthers?
Yeah, Sam Bennett moves on, and they move Lundell up and say,
Yep.
Tays, you can have our third line center if you'd like.
Pretty
For
good
$1 million
setup.
a year.
Pretty good little setup. State tax.
Not bad.
All that good stuff. Here's Pierre LeBrun, our TSN Hockey Insider. Pierre, what are you hearing on Jonathan Taves? And, who's in the mix to possibly sign him?
Yeah, what I know is that when the news first got out a couple of weeks ago that he was 100% committed coming back. I mean, the agent for Jonathan Taves, Pat Brisson, his phone exploded. Some teams just want to know like what's what. But what's happened here over the last couple of days is that Brisson has shortened the list to 3 or 4 serious possibilities for Jonathan Taves. I don't know what all the teams are on there, but I do know Winnipeg's one of them. Beyond that, I think it's possible Colorado is potentially one of them, but I don't know all of them. And at some
We
point,
have to ask you, Pierre, is Toronto on it?
I don't know. I'm not saying they can't be. I mean, listen, it actually would make sense to me when you're talking about wanting to change the DNA of some of your team and your Brad Treliving. But I don't know that Toronto is one of them. I just can't. I just can't answer that for sure for you.